another just random day. It's absolutely beautiful here in Sullivan County. Still windy as hell. You can see the beauty of Dew Shore. But yeah, just kind of a time to just talk about, stupid stuff. Again, I'm not that important a person, so it's nice if somebody listens, and if not, that's fine. I just wanted to, shoot my mouth off at something. I was thinking today about my truck. Summer of, October of 2022, I was driving I had a Ford Edge. Very nice car. It was a titanium. I got it used and had about 50,000 miles on it, and the used car market was ridiculously inflated at that point when it comes down to price. So I always I have a job where it requires a lot of driving, and so the job requires a lot of driving, and I always wanted a truck, and I had thought for a while that maybe the Ford Ranger would be great. My mom and dad have a Ford Ranger. It's a Lariat, nice truck. And I was thinking, my God, small enough to be easy enough to drive every day, but big enough to haul a bunch of crap if I want to. And so going to the dealership, which was owned by a friend of ours, so you can imagine I did get a good deal on what I eventually wound up purchasing. But yeah, I told him what I wanted and showed him the Ford website, and he basically laughed his ass off because the Ford website allows you to spec out things and to build to an option, so to speak, and then gives you a price, but they way deflate the price. I mean, the actual cost is way more than what the website says. So but on the lot he had a 2021 F-150, and the Ranger I had spec'd out was a Lariat with all the leather seats and electronics and shit on there, wipe your ass and brush your teeth while you're driving, but he had a 2021 F-150 full-size truck, with XL model, but had the chrome appearance package. So it's got not the base wheels, but one up, and 4-wheel drive, no locking rear differential, but I think those things are overrated sometimes anyway, unless it's like the most extreme circumstance. But yeah, 4-wheel drive, had the 2.7 V6, and I took it out for a drive and liked it, and basically signed the paperwork that day. I got a hell of a good deal on it, because again, the dealership is owned by a friend of mine, so he really cut me some good slack. And the car I traded in was in excellent condition. I mean, if there was so much of as a speck of dirt on the inside of the car, the whole thing got vacuumed. I was just very, very particular about that car. And I'm kind of the same way about the truck too, but he knew it and gave me a great deal. And I got to tell you what, for me, I guess, it depends on what you want. My mom's Ranger with the Lariat is a 4-door Ranger, and the one I wanted was 2 doors because I don't have any kids. But I wound up getting a Super Cab F-150, 2-door with the clamshell doors, 6.5-foot bed, and for what that cost me, a comparable Ranger wouldn't really have been worth it. Because, I mean, here's the thing, that F-150 with the 2.76 cylinder has about 40 or 40 more horsepower than the Ranger, and a lot more torque. The fuel mileage is actually the same, if not slightly better than the Ranger, and it's a bigger truck, so I don't really carry that many things. I'm a social worker, so the bed's pretty empty all the time, but I do live rurally, so sometimes it's good to have a full-size truck to haul trash or garbage or furniture or whatever you need. F-150 really was a better deal, and I think, you know, there's so much focus online. If you look at people who are looking at cars and trucks and reviewing them, there's so much on these smaller trucks because they get better gas mileage, but you know, these full-size trucks, depending on how you configure them, can really end up being a better deal. Oftentimes they are priced similarly to some of the smaller trucks when you option all the smaller trucks out, which a lot of people do. And sometimes they're even cheaper. So yeah, they might cost more gas, but they are cheaper to buy. Because the full-size trucks are body on frame, they're usually better built. So they're built more to last. You know, they have solid axles in the rear, so there's less suspension components to break and go wrong, as opposed to like a Ford Maverick or something. And even the Ranger has a solid rear axle. And I'm sure that Chevrolet Colorado does too. I'm not knocking Chevy or Dodge. I just prefer Ford. So really, I think these full-size trucks, depending on what your need is, they can be a really, really good buy. And now the only problem with these things is that, yes, if you live in a city environment, which I don't, but if you live in an environment where you're constantly having to park the thing, it can be a pain in the ass. Just because it's big. And it can be a little cumbersome. And, you know, like any truck, when the bad weather hits, it's always a good idea to drive a little more slowly, unless you have a lot of shit in the back, which I don't, because I don't have a need to do that. But, and yeah, of course, full-size truck. You know, unlike what many of the idiots who drive trucks around here think, full-size truck is not designed to take hairpin curves at 90 miles an hour, although they try it all the time and they wind up, you know, wiping out. So, you know, you suffer a little bit in the handling department. But overall, the benefits outweigh the cost for me, for a lot of people. I mean, you get, you know, especially in a full-size truck like a GMC 1500 or a Dodge Ram, if you get a four-wheel drive, the nice thing about that is you get a real four-wheel drive, you know. And I'm not knocking the all-wheel drives that come in like the Ford Maverick or the Hyundai Santa Cruz, and they've gotten really good, and they can put power where you need it. But just remember, a lot of times that's depending on a huge network of sensors, you know, reading throttle input, wheel spin, vehicle angle, and if just one of those sensors fails, the all-wheel drive system may not operate as well. Well, in a truck like an F-150 or Dodge Ram 1500 or a Chevy 1500, you know, that just has an in and out box, four-wheel drive with a shiftable low range, you're less likely to have that problem. Because even if the traction control in one of those trucks for some reason fails, you're still going to have your four-wheel drive, and it's still going to function very well. So there's that. Many of them actually have gear-on-gear transmissions, which I like. I'm not exactly on board with this whole CVT shit. Not that there's anything really bad with them. I just don't really know how they're going to hold up over time. So you have that. Another huge advantage of a big truck is the fact that you sit way up. And you don't really realize it until you actually drive these things. You can see so far above other people and other traffic and other vehicles. And that actually allows you to make safe decisions when pulling into traffic, because you can see what's happening behind other vehicles. And speaking of which, you know, if I'm driving along and then somebody decides to T-bone me or be a moron and, you know, rear end me or hit me, there's a damn good chance that their car is going to feel the damage a lot more than me or my truck will. So I think trucks are incredibly safe. And you know, they're not what they used to be. I mean, this F-150 with this 2.7 EcoBoost motor, you know, and so many comparable trucks from Dodge or Chevrolet, you know, you goose the gas on those things. You step on the gas, those things move. They're quick. They're extremely comfortable on the inside. You know, you have a lot of room on the inside so you can stretch out. There's a ton of headroom in these things. The controls on the inside to use the radio, because it's a truck, they're bigger, so you don't have to fish around or screw around to try to find them when you're driving. They're all pretty much easy to reach. I mean, you know, trucks are full-size trucks, you know, seem to not be getting all the love today because they're not as efficient as the smaller ones. But when you take a look at them in balance compared to the other ones, in many cases they're just as good of a deal, if not a better deal, than the smaller mid-sized trucks are. So that's just my spiel. And for me, it's a big advantage because I like the weight of a big truck, which helps out in bad weather. You know, put it in four-wheel drive does help with the, you know, having all that weight up front does help out. And I can see during the summertime when I want to use it for things like kayaking or even hiking, which you don't need a truck to go hiking, but you know, what's better than, you know, sitting on a tailgate and putting on your hiking shoes as opposed to having to crawl under a door that's lifted up in a crossover SUV or something like that. You know, you have dirty shoes, dirty backpack, you know, you kayak, you know, you want to go kayaking, hey, just toss it in the back and don't really have to think about it. And if you want to haul a load of wood or got some furniture you got to take out, because in the countryside, trash services really don't take that much often, so you have to haul it down to the local dump sometimes. So yeah, they're just a better deal in some cases, I think. So if anyone happens to watch this video, again, I don't think I'm that important, so I just wanted to say these things and maybe somebody can write something back and start a conversation. So thank you.